do that. Okay, cool. You know, I realized that with how the day was pacing, really you have to adjust to, just the plans that you make and whatnot. So when the springtime event got canceled, and I'll update you guys on when the next showing is, or when we post for the event again, especially with the summer and the weather breaking. We'll be able to do more events outside and not be confined to, limited spaces and things like that. So it should be a lot easier to really get events going, and people are really a lot more eager to get out. So, with the event getting canceled, I was like, well, this does free me up to actually channel some messages that I did want to get around to channeling, but just had to prioritize other things. So just there's been a lot of talk about the full moon, and it's not surprising because a lot of times we, like as a collective, as a people, we get excited about the full moons, but we don't always know what to expect from them. Like a lot of times we'll know more about the new moon because it's really easy for us to all like get into the new moon, because the new moon, we're thinking new intentions are starting out. So a lot of times we're like, okay, well, what do I want? Let me put that in. Let me seed that or put conscious focus into that. But when full moons come around, because it's really dealing with a harvest season, sometimes we don't always know what to expect. We just know that it's something coming around or it's a big deal. So we might get confused because sometimes the full moon is bringing back things that we didn't even know that we were seeding. Like sometimes the full moons are completions of cycles from 6-month spans or equinox spans or things like that, and you might be receiving back energy that you seeded at the previous equinox or just something like that, sometimes even 6 months ago. This particular full moon, worm moon, is in Libra, and Libra just in and of itself deals a lot with like long-term longevity, relationships, connecting, because it's a very aesthetic pleasing sign. It's an air sign. So with the full moon being in Libra, especially because this particular one is coming after, I believe it was, what was it, the new moon in new moon in Pisces. So when this month really started with new moon in Pisces, we were feeling this exuberation of new feelings, new emotions. We were feeling light and just letting all of these sensitive feelings we were letting like all these sensitive feelings come to the forefront. So there was this hyper sensitivity of emotional direction that we wanted to take with the people around us within our own personal space. But more so, we were feeling a lot of like, okay, I need to be getting ready to do something now. It's like, especially with this Aries energy over the new moon, Pisces, is like, okay, I need to be doing something. I need to get these things going. There's all this shit that I want to do, and I want to get into all of it. So we have that energy, and then we have the new moon, the full moon in Libra tomorrow. So that portal is going to be a big deal because a lot of times when we have like a new moon and then it seeds into the full moon, the intensity of the emotions that start the moon cycle come back with a similar intensity when the full moon comes back around. So because I'm kind of excited, I'm going to really kind of go into detail about this one because normally when I do the moon cycle transit, I usually do the new moon and the full moon so that we can kind of know what to gauge for how it's beginning and ending. But since I didn't actually do the new moon this time in Pisces, I'll focus more so on the impacts and what to expect from the full moon and how we can actually utilize that energy. Libra is the judge, the executioner. It's detached from emotions. Action and energy plays the biggest part more so than emotions. So you can think of that and think about things that you've been doing. Think about things that you've been wanting to do, things you've been wanting to see into your space, into your environment, into your connections, especially the connections, and how the changing of dynamic or your perception of these connections could shift if you changed your emotional perception about these matters. Like there are things that we're being very sentimental about people and how we want ourselves to be received. And because we're holding on to these perceptions, that also affects the long-term impact of how those things are going to grow or create fruition. A lot of times when we hold on to pain, when we hold on to grief, when we hold on to just holding a slight or just something to happen within your space, and I'm not talking about things that are perceived a certain way. I'm talking about, let's say you actually been slighted, you've actually been suffered a betrayal or a trauma at the hands of someone else, or it's a situation that you did not deserve, but you still find yourself in these situations where you're coming back to the same situation again, and because you haven't let it go, because you're right in the matter, you don't feel the need to budge. But in holding on to that pain, that hurt, you also don't grow. Like, there's a big issue. Like, we think that we forgive and work to reconcile things for the sake of the other person and being the bigger person. But a lot of times our biggest focus should be on ourselves. When we apologize to somebody else, when we're reconciling a situation, the biggest motivator should be for ourselves. Because you have to heal a situation that even a person doesn't forgive you for, or doesn't let go of, or isn't willing to own up to, still holds your heart in a locked space, holds your heart in a confined or restricted or constricted space, and doesn't allow you to liberate or to receive things that you should be deserving of. When we hold on to pain and hurts and relationships or connections that we don't allow to grow, or we hold them in place because of the pain that's been caused by allowing that connection or that being in that space to exist, we also limit what it is that we can receive for ourselves that could be beneficial for us, just simply because somebody else hurt us. And if you really think about that, allowing ourselves to be restricted from our happiness because somebody else hurt us is actually oxymoronic, is actually backwards. But it's a trigger mechanism, and our spirit, our body, our emotional body shut down as a defensive response when we suffer emotional traumas that we're not able to make sense of. If your spiritual body or your subconscious body sees that you are not able to process a situation, it's going to remove you out of the situation, because you clearly don't even have the awareness to know you're in a state that calls for danger or calls for you to bring in awareness. So sometimes when you are that out of your element, sometimes your body will go into a state of shock, or your spirit will put you in a state of denial, or it will put you in a state of emotional compression collapse, because it's so sensitive that you don't have a way to process it. And like many things in his life, when you get overwhelmed with a sensation, you might faint. When too much blood rushes to your head, you might faint. And what is that but a concentration of a bunch of energy in one spot? If your energy is not aligned within your body, then it's going to be bottled up in one area, and usually that can cause a short circuit or a shutdown. So as I'm tapping in the spirit and just aligning energy to get ready for the moon, the channel message for the moon, we had this message called Full Moon in Aries. And this message, the fact that this is falling out and speaking to the disposition of Full Moon in Aries, a fiery climax approaches, this is a call for us to drop the hanging baggage and emotional energies in our energy field that don't allow us to move. This is also confirmation within the Aries season and with the Libra full moon. Libra deals a lot with conclusions. Let me rephrase that. Conclusions is not the word I'm looking for. Libra in general deals a lot with bridging connections or bridging an energy. When you go before the judge, or when you look at the tarot card for justice, that's associated with Libra, because it's a solemn face. It's not factoring in emotions because it needs that objectivity. So Libra also deals with getting past the biasness of emotional lenses and perceptions, and simply getting to the meat of the matter of, okay, but what happened? Okay, what did you do? Okay, how is this energy being given out? So this showing up is also a call to let go of old weights so that a new outcome can happen, so a new outcome of energy can be bridged into the situation. Okay, 2 3s. Spirit give us a clear, concise message and a message of unconditional love for the Libra full moon that is coming up Sunday. This powerful portal that's opening up. What message and wisdom do you have for us so that we can walk in our highest truth and take our most divine breath and utilize this energy in this portal to the best of our capabilities? Resonating with the number 4. Oh yeah. So we're definitely gonna have to let some things go here. Let's see, what do we got here? Move this here. Okay, so we have Spirit is bringing up the messages of gibbous moon, full moon eclipse. These are definitely some very strong things here. I'm gonna put those aside. And as I said, the full moon in Aries fell out. So the Aries is a very intense energy, and one of the things with Aries is quickly feeling things, emotions, quickly feeling things as quickly as they die out. So emotions can start up as quickly as they burn out. So this is a call to as well, if you think about the situations, the spaces that you're in your personal energy field, with the fiery climax approaches full moon in Aries. This is a call to check your first round of emotions, to really bring into awareness how you're feeling, or are you just riding the emotions of how you feel, and understand that that's going to give you the lot of what it is that you're looking at before you. You may even be feeling this way because there are situations that you're looking at with way more detail. The gibbous moon, you're very close to achieving your goal. So there's a sense, a heightened fiery passion, because your spirit and your inner self has been working at this so long and is ready to not be hindered by any resistances. Confirmation, you are very close to achieving your goal, and the gibbous moon really lets us know that it's really really close to the full moon. So this is also a confirmation that the energy, the hard work, and what you're seeing before you is pretty much what it is. You can take that message how you want. What you see before you is pretty much what it is, but there's still a little bit more work that needs to be done. But there really shouldn't be any surprises at this point as to the matter or how the state of the situation you find yourself in is when it comes to your family dynamics and the projects that you've been working on, especially when it comes to how you've been trying to have yourself be perceived about what it is that you're going about doing. This plays a very big factor, which may rile up some still lingering skeletons and just suppressed emotions that you thought would have been laid to rest. And this can really be because, well, I'll say as well, that when we look at the eclipse moon, when I think of eclipses, when I feel on the energy of the eclipse, we see the sun illuminates everything while the moon casts everything in a different light. But when we look at an eclipse moon, a lot of times we can be in the same place and we've already seen that things are harder to see in the moonlight. But with an eclipse moon, we look at the situation in a way that we never knew that it could be illuminated in such a way. We never knew that the rays of light could be cast this way. We never knew that it could take this angle, take this luminosity. So the full moon eclipse is also showing you as well that there's going to be a very big impact for you tomorrow, that a lot of things leading up to this point and the energy you've been building up to in this point, in this particular moon cycle, is showcasing you in a different way. And the energy you've been put in, like, there's nothing that can't be seen anymore. You've been noticing that everything is being called out. Everything is being called out. There used to be a time that money could buy your way out of a situation. There used to be a time that being rich or being having influence would allow people to not call you on your shit. And now everything's illuminated and no one seems to care. This age of Aquarius, and I'll even go another step and say, I'll give some credit to the Mars and Gemini. People are not afraid to call you out on your shit, to check you for your shit, and to let you know what you are. So you're seeing the shit with the YouTuber, the Janks, the one guy that cheated on his wife, just things just coming out, just all this shit where people's images and just the way things are seen are illuminated in a new way, both positive and negative. And this is because we're stepping into a new fire, we're stepping into a new confidence and a new polarity. Confirmation of the new moon in Leo, we're being called to step into our confidence because we're so close to success. Confidence is the key to success. So if we're being called to step into our passion, we're being called to not be held back by the things that used to keep us from the desires that we've wanted for so long. And now we're realizing, like, damn, I really can't do this shit now. And damn, nothing's blocking me anymore from what it is I used to do. So maybe all it took was a little bit of courage. Maybe all it took was a little bit of energy in my solar plexus, a little bit of fire. Well, shit, we're in the Aries season. There's nothing but courage. So this Libra full moon is also letting you know that, hey, don't hold the fear that the situation is going to stay the same. Don't hold the fear that there won't be success in the matters at hand. You may be feeling some lingering waters from the past. New moon in Cancer. You may be feeling some new lingering waters from the past that you don't have the support, the validation, or that what it is that you wish to put your hands to and your energy to comes with conditional love from the people around you and the situations around you in order for you to continue down your path. Sure, you can do what you're doing. You can go down that unbeaten path, but you'll lose that support because you feel like you're around people and conditional and ultimatums. And some of this can be from, it's not just strangers or acquaintances. This can be from people who are really important in your life, which is evidenced by the new moon in Cancer, because Cancer is a sign that deals with security and closeness as a family. So Cancer keeps the things around them that are most important to them. So you're being called into awareness to deal with decisions. It's easy to make decisions about who's a friend and who's an enemy when there's clear lines drawn. But when the people around you who you care about, who you cherish, who you love, are putting you in conflict with that which you truly want for your soul journey, then there's a conflict. Then there's a new illumination. Then there's a need to see the situation in a new light, and it may make you wonder, like, how can I change the situation? How can I change this dynamic? And do I have to compromise? Do you feel like you're compromising your light? Libra is the sign that plays the self-martyr. So this is also the wisdom calls that comes from Libra during this time, is letting you know, like, hey, like, don't compromise, don't play the neutral route. Libra is the most neutral sign in the zodiac, but there's neutrality for action and there's neutrality for inaction. So it's kind of like, which one are you exhibiting during this time? Are you playing neutral and not taking action in areas that need to take action? Or are you simply going with the tempo and simply just sticking to what it is that you already are doing just to try and balance out a situation that you feel is on tilt? So Libra Libra is a big call to bring awareness to the scales that are going on in your life. If it's your success scales and how your finances are, then you need to figure out what it is you're balancing on those scales. If it's the connections and you're balancing your authenticity and what it is that you desire for your soul walk, then you need to look at the connections in your life and what you're honoring. Are you honoring external projections? Are external projections more important than your own inner guidance? And with this Aries season being what it is right now, we manifest on autopilot. We manifest before we even think. So sometimes we're manifesting things before we even take the time to have inner guidance. The sign of the first house has a tendency to do that to us. Has a tendency to do that to the Aries sign, the Aries season, and when Aries is having its effect on us on a planetary scale. Let's expand on this wisdom a little bit. Oh, okay. The Lovers, definitely jumping out here. The Lovers jumping out, this is a polarity or a mirror of your inner self reflected on what is projected out. You see the woman sitting here, and the painter or the artist is painting the external projection of what her beauty reflects. What does she feel like in this moment? She may have to suffer through some moments, but we paint the beauty. Not all angles are painted, just the angle that is considered the art. So you may be focusing on an aspect of yourself that may or may not be art. And that may be being mirrored out into the world, because the Lovers is the coming together of that which you desire and love most, that which is of value to you. And it's also important to note as well that the lovers also represents the romanticism of that which you love without feeling that it's wrong, sinful, or holding it's just intrinsically right. I want you to think Adam and Eve before they ate the apple. They was fucking and having sex well up until the point before they ate the apple, but all of a sudden after they ate the apple, then now it's wrong. So this coming up as well as the lovers coming up, flopping out, really jumping out, is a confirmation that we may be impassioned right now because we're so close to that which we desire. So we may be getting a little erratic. We may be feeling that something is getting really close to jumping off. Something is getting really close to happening. And I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to miss this opportunity. And it seems like there's still these things that are coming up. And really these things that are coming up are these past phantom feelings, these notions that you hold on to, these feelings that you hold on to that you have not released, that don't serve any purpose in this present moment. Death and judgment. Okay, a lot of major arcanas and some heavy hitter themes here. Okay, so we have death. Death definitely speaking to transformation, and then with judgment being here, this is dealing with a cycle. It makes me think sacrifice and growth. A lot of reversal themes here as well. So we have death, judgment, Queen of Fire. So definitely dealing with that fire theme. Queen of Fire being here, there's a needing to seek your power, your inner confidence. And if this is overlaying the lovers, then that means that what we're creating or projecting or manifesting out into the world is a lack of confidence, a lack of solidarity, a need for validation. This may even be a draining or a relying on others' energy in order to satisfy one's own pleasures. And that means that you're waiting for somebody else to paint your narrative, but then that's blaming them or blaming the world around you for the painting that's painted. The artist, the universe is only painting what they see. They're painting you. So if you want a different painting, you want a different pose, you got to change the picture. You got to change the pose. Switch your position. Switch your energy. If you don't like what's being mirrored out, you have to switch your energy. You're too close to that which it is that you desire to be upset about what's being cultivated around you. What's being cultivated is what you seeded. So that means that it's time to acknowledge the field that you're laying in. Judgment is a call to not deny where you're at. When judgment comes up, it means that we have to look at where we are, who we are, and what we are for what we are. Your status, your money, your clout, none of that worthless shit matters. When judgment comes up, it's the equivalent of a little child looking at you when you've done something wrong and you can't explain to the child what you did wrong because they just see it for what it is. Whereas to an adult, you might make up all these excuses and be like, well, like this, that, and the third. Like, well, I did this because, daddy's lonely, or I did this because, me and mom are having some issues. But while an adult may understand that and come to terms with that, they'd be like, oh, daddy or mommy's just doing what they do. But when you're explaining this shit to a kid, they just see it for what it is. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter your status, your clout. They just see the actions that take place. When you're faced with a situation, when you're faced with judgment, it means that it's time to step out of the pot. Or if you don't like the pressure that's going on, sometimes in order to create a diamond, you have to go through some pressure. So when judgment comes up, sometimes you have to be in a situation in order to appreciate or to feel what it is that's transpiring. But when we see death, this is the transformation. So this is by definition the loss or the giving up or the sacrifice of something that is no longer needed in order to transition into something new. So death's coming up, especially with this inversion theme here, and the overlaying with the gibbous moon and the eclipse is we are looking at this situation. We're looking at where we find ourselves, and we're, in essence, I want to say we feel like we're going through the same cycle again. But Spirit is trying to let us know that the situation is different. But it doesn't necessarily have to come out different if you aren't willing to step up to the plate. If you aren't willing to open your eyes to what is new or what's illuminating. When eclipses come around, everything's the same, but it makes everything look that much more different. So how are you looking at the situations that you're in? How is this moon energy coming up for you during this time? And how are you not embracing your power? Queen of Fire reverse. How are you not seeing the keys to your success? What has you limited, or what is blocking your vision? What is in your perception that is robbing you? What is in your perception? I haven't even touched on the Seven of Pentacles. What sacrifice are you not making? There's an investment that you need to make. You may be sitting on the sides, not willing to make the investment because you may feel that it was taking too long or you waited too long. When we see Seven of Pentacles, this is not about quick fruits. This is about something that's going to take a minute. It might be like planting an apple tree. You know, you're not about to get this in the next month. You might have to wait some time, some months, some years for the first rewards to come. So you might have to refer back to what it is that you wrote down. You might not remember it right now. You might have to refer back to what it is that you told yourself so that you can inspire yourself to create your enthusiasm. You might have to remember who your loved ones are and remember what made you safe. What made you feel loved? What made you feel secure? Because those things are what are seeding during this time. Those things are what are manifesting and coming up for you during this time. I would say that definitely have the wisdom for the full moon Libra, seeing Gibbous, the eclipse, new moon, and the new moon Cancer come up as the oracle themes, along with the full moon Aries that flopped out. Since we're speaking on this full moon in Libra, the sign of connections, the sign of longevity. When you take your divine breath, bring awareness to long-term benefits of the connections around you. Bring awareness to the long-term benefits of how your energy field can grow for the better. Also bring long-term awareness to how you can take the aesthetic of the things that you've been learning about yourself during this time, how you can take the courage and this new passion and this new manifesting guidance and this new luminosity to carve out a new path and to conquer things that previously held you back. How can you conquer those things that previously held you back? These situations are coming back up again, but now you got those special pieces. Now you did them side quests that allow you to beat that boss that you couldn't beat before. What are you going to do differently now, and what are you going to claim for yourself? I hope each and every one of you are excited about this full moon Libra. I think it's a great time to do full moon ritual intentions, drink moon water, take bath soaks, really just up on your candles. Like I'm gonna be burning a white and a white candle for healing and alignment. It's a good time to really boost connections. So working with white and red candles can be very beneficial for you during this time, and really just rededicating to your altar. Clean your altar off if you haven't made time to do that. But most importantly, when Sunday comes around, just really because that is also a day of rest and it's on a full moon. It's really about taking that moment to put awareness into what it is that you've been receiving and what is coming to you during this time and what you're grateful for, how the connections around you can be improved, and what it is that you can do to improve the connections within yourself, within your own energy body. I hope that many of you are enjoying this day, enjoying your springtime, that you enjoyed the star moment, the spring equinox. It's time for us to really make the most of things that we've been sitting in our fears about that have been holding us back from actually creating those things in reality. Really making sure that we are taking the time to love ourselves and just enjoy this full moon portal that comes up. I will be dropping definitely some new items because it looks like I had some other plans, but I'm not gonna get into that right now. But I'll be dropping my new products on my online site, on my Etsy. The link is in the bio. So I will definitely be having new conjure oils, money magnet oils. Right now you can definitely check out my new Lick Me Raw, which is definitely a conjure oil that you will love for love attracting and spicing up the aphrodisiacs within your space. And when I'm talking about no inhibitions, you'll be surprised at how much these people are really flaunting over you. So just make sure that you don't do anything that you're not ready for. Also, new bath soaks as well. I'll be putting that on the website as well. So we have new bath soaks. Definitely, really everything I do is natural and organic. No dyes. I don't believe in dyes. I feel it's oxymoronic and it beats the purpose of when you're working with bath salts and bath bombs, especially when you're working with yoni care. These things, dyes and fragrances, they throw off pH. So everything I work with is natural fragrance. It's really good for your skin, essential oils, and just have you feeling rejuvenated and getting your spiritual body and your physical body back in alignment. So definitely, if you have questions, make sure to hit me up. And you can inquire about anything that is not listed. You can definitely DM me for a special request and things of that nature. Hey, much love. Thanks for tuning in. But definitely, I'm going to be posting this video on my YouTube and my IG. So if you missed the full moon spread in wisdom, I'll be posting that shortly. And you can also catch the rest of my new products on the video and when I make a post later. Yeah. So much love and many blessings, and Ashe.